happy February 20...
First.
No, that was Friday.
Oh. It's 22nd.
That's today.
Yes.
But it comes out tomorrow.
Happy 23rd.
But people won't download it to Monday.
24th.
How are you doing, audience? We'll wait.
We're glad to hear that.
All right, fantastic.
It's good. What are we drinking, champ?
You know what? We're drinking beer.
We are. A form of beer.
We're drinking root beer.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about Whippersnapper's root beer before, right?
I believe we mentioned it in passing.
So they've canned it. They put it in the cans.
Because I had it last month off of the draft, and it was fucking delicious.
It is delicious.
Yeah.
It's like just 4 ingredients: cane sugar, sarsaparilla, sassafras, and oats.
Yeah, so it's super simple. It has this nice, like, amber color to it.
It's like almost like, it looks kind of like apple juice.
Yeah, it would kind of look like that.
Or dehydrated piss.
Let's drink our cup of dehydrated piss.
Oh.
No, but it's super tasty. And, of course, we have shows there in March coming up, and their continued support. I brought them a stage.
Yeah. You know, they've changed their beer board.
That's good.
So it's all the posters of their beers that they've got on tap.
Nice.
Because they cycle them through, right?
Yeah, they do. There's a big turnover for them.
So this is the 22nd. We're 22 days of no drinking in February.
It's been pretty good. I have enjoyed it. I've actually enjoyed it on stage mostly.
Okay.
Because normally I know you have a couple drinks when you get on stage, and normally I have one before it as well, or 2, and like I've kind of noticed that I'm okay without it. It's just more of a good reaction, a cleaner stage high. Would that be?
Okay, that's fair. It depends on like where I am on the show.
Yeah,
like I usually have a beer before, and then I have a beer on stage. And the reason I have a beer on stage is because I talk fast, and I know that that's an issue. So sometimes having that beer allows me to take a breath.
Yeah,
and it slows me down just in general, just to be like, all right, I'm gonna like pause, and I've written some drink breaks into my set.
Yeah. I depending on the length of my set. If I'm anything under 10 minutes, though, I usually don't bring a drink up with me. If I'm like short middling or middling, then I bring something up with me for the pause and the flow. It's a different writing.
I don't know. I always feel like it's nice to have something in my hand because I never know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, because grabbing your penis on stage is very awkward.
Yeah. Louis C.K. fucked that up for men everywhere.
Fucking Louis C.K.
I'm only joking, men. Don't do that. We already had kind of we'll have the Dick Docs ad play in this one.
Yeah, totally. It's been a good couple of days here, and bringing alcohol back in my life. It'll be not let the floodgates open, but it's coming back gradually. Yeah, well,
it's going to be gradual. I'm going to be breaking on the 29th.
Okay.
Is where there's like a little family supper and
it's a Saturday, right?
Yeah, it's a Saturday. It'll have been 4 weeks, and when we have these little family dinners, I like to have a couple glasses of wine.
Yeah,
so.
There's a big test for me actually tomorrow. I'm going to stepmom's place.
Okay.
And usually I do not refrain there, but I'm also driving. So that's a bonus thing. I can be like, yeah, that's good, and I can just. Yeah. Get out of there earlier.
Is that a new ring, or have I just not noticed it?
No, that's my ring that was handed down. Actually, this ring was given to my dad from my grandmother.
Okay.
After Gord passed, my grandfather died.
Okay.
So this is my grandfather's ring that he got married to with my grandmother.
Okay, so it was your grandpa's wedding ring.
Grandpa's wedding ring, and then my dad held it for a while. He just had it.
Okay.
And then, because he had his own wedding bands, and then when me and Amanda got engaged, my father wasn't actually around anymore, so Robin gave it to Amanda.
Okay.
And then it was my wedding band, and it still is, obviously. I had never worn it until the day of my wedding. And I didn't even know if it was going to fit or not.
Okay.
And by some crazy preordained thing, Amanda, gave Amanda's ring, and obviously it fits. But I pulled it out, and she slipped, and it only occurred to me like when it was at the tip of my finger. I'm like, oh, I hope this fits, and it just slipped right on. And then I leaned over to my grandma who was in the front row, and I'm like, I'd actually never worn this before, and she's all like, that was silly, right?
You silly.
Yeah, it was silly. Yeah. No.
Do you wear that all the time, or
just when I come out?
Okay.
Yeah, when I'm out. Yeah.
I feel like I just haven't seen it before.
No,
and I'm not trying to say it on air that you're like, you don't wear your wedding.
No, I intentionally I don't wear it at work because I don't like it on my hands.
Oh, yeah, I guess you work with your hands.
Like, when I work with my hands, I'm like, people are like, what about a silicone ring? I'm like, you don't get it. I don't like anything on my hands but gloves. And often I find it's just a hindrance. And then...
I lost a lot of weight after I got married, and so my wedding ring didn't fit. Like, it was always slipping off my finger, and I would find that it would often like pinch the skin on my finger, and it was like
too tight.
No, it wasn't too tight. It was too loose, but like it would come in, and like if I stuck my hands in my pocket, it would be like skin would get pinched in there, and
just a constant reminder.
I like, it's not that I hated wearing a ring because like I didn't hate it. It's just, I don't know. I didn't love it.
No, right?
I don't even know where my old wedding band is. I think I lost it.
Nice.
I could probably get like $200 for it.
Yeah, you could. That's a lot of alcohol.
It's my if everything else in my life fails and I need $200, hopefully I can find it. Kind of plan.
Definitely not going to sell the comic books. No, that's good.
No, not the comic books. If I've got a ring that I could maybe get $200 for, there's that. Kate's been asking about what I want for a wedding band when we get married. So.
I have to side on Brendan McKeegan and be like, girls get the wedding ring and they get all freaked. Yeah, kid, right? We need swords. We need swords. That's the McKeegan's take on that one. Imagine that, an engagement sword, guys.
I don't need a sword.
Yes, you do. You don't even know that you don't need a sword. How do you know? You don't even know. I know everyone should probably have a sword.
Everyone should probably have a sword.
I mean, there's some tests that you have to do because we've talked about gun registry and appropriate firearms and weapons before, but everybody should have a sword.
So Kate listened to our Minnesota about the flu.
Yeah.
And she screamed at it because, first off, you didn't get your flu shot. And she's like, why would you get it? So there's that. Right. Also, I talked about how we got our flu shots and then we got the flu.
Yeah.
She wants me to put some context and some clarification that Maddie didn't really catch the flu. Maddie had a little bit of a fever.
Yeah.
But, like, the flu didn't get really passed to her, so Maddie didn't get sick. Mm-hmm. And relatively, the flu kind of, like, was quick.
Right.
Like, it was like, for her, it was like a day of the flu, and then she ended up having, like, a sinus infection that went on, and the sinus infection is not the flu.
No.
My flu was, I threw up constantly.
Yeah, you were pretty horrible. Like, your New Year's was terrible. And,
but, it was like 3 days, so we survived it, and she's like, it wasn't that long.
Right.
And
I've had no days, so...
Well,
hey.
You should stick it that flu shot. Flu season.
Not now, it's over. Yeah, I'm probably like... what do they call that? Typhoid Mary? It just carries around the flu to you guys.
You're a carrier.
I'm a carrier, but there's certain people. Everybody has a role to play.
Yeah. Who do we have on this week?
We have a former Olympic coach and doctor, one Adam Kingsbury.
Yeah. He's your cousin, right?
My cousin. Yes, absolutely.
That's why we were able to get an Olympian
doctor.
Olympian/doctor.
Olympian/doctor. Yep.
And he talked. We'll get into the interview, obviously, but I was really impressed. I thought that was a really cool conversation that we had, and he knows a lot about sports psychology.
Yes.
But
he absolutely does.
Ultimately about psychology in general. His clinical psychology.
Yeah, you can pretty much take those same aspects, right, and then bring it into the sport is pretty much what it is there, right? It's a lot like the aspects of me in building, because I'm a Red Seal in lath and interior systems. I know carpentry. You know what I mean?
A Red Seal with some sex appeal.
Yeah. That did well last night, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's been an interesting run. It's been a fun run this week.
Oh, actually, so just quickly, kind of because we talked about Whippersnapper earlier today, I went in there today to pick up, the root beer.
Yeah.
And when I went in there, it's the first time I've been in there since February.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And Patrick, the owner, he sees me, walking up, and he's just drip. 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 Which, for those that are listening that might not know, that's part of a punchline from my set where I'm ball sweat.
It's like
ball sweat
basically-
dripping onto a dude's head while I'm spotting him while we're bench pressing. It's gross.
It's awkward.
It's a very awkward little interaction, and I always make eye contact with like a manly man in the front row and just
take it down a little bit.
Put that drip into it, and then
you could do it. Put your drip into it.
And so, like, that show was like a month ago. I was like, oh, so you think about me? He's like, you haunt my nightmares.
Oh man, wow, it's good, and you can't be remembered. Oh well, you're being remembered. So you're being remembered. That's
Being remembered, yeah.
Good.
I was watching some curling today.
Nice.
Yeah, the Scotties is going on.
Yeah, that's right. Tournament Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, our guest this week actually coached for Holman.
And who was, I believe it, who's at
She's
the Scotties?
Scotts
Yeah,
still.
yeah.
Yeah, she's still full in curling. Yeah, absolutely. And good group of ladies, actually.
Yeah, and so I hope that you guys enjoy our conversation with, I guess, soon to be, because he can't use the word doctor yet until his thesis has been fully, like, because he's
our family. He's been sworn in to be
soon to be Dr. Adam Kingsbury.
That's right.
Here we go.
Here we go. Enjoy.
Here we go.
That's you.
Hello. Oh, I don't know why I clapped to start that off. Everybody just an aggressive clap.
It's a weird kind of a chime. Is that Pavlov's clap?
Pavlov's clap. Hello, everybody out there. We're back.
Listening.
We actually have our first like non-entertainment guest.
Yes, absolutely.
Wait, are you trying to say I'm not entertaining?
Oh, you're entertaining for completely other reasons that are non.
We realized like this is our 10th full episode, and the past 9 episodes have been 8 comedians and 1 radio DJ.
Okay,
so
now
like,
I see what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah. Thanks for swimming, Adam. Like coming to the
Here we go.
Comedians really only have other comedian friends, like, and that's the problem because nobody actually wants to hang out with us in real life.
None. Zero facts. That's very true.
Okay, I'm ready to do it anyway.
Cool.
All right, so we are with Adam Kingsbury. Adam Kingsbury, we'll kind of get into your credentials just in a little bit, but we got a few get to know you questions for our audience out there. We're just going to jump straight on in. We know that you are an Olympian. So and you're a Winter Olympian. So what is your favorite Summer Olympic sport?
Wow, you're putting me on the spot already. Can I have 5 seconds to think about it?
We can give you like 5 seconds.
I feel like archery.
Nice.
Why archery?
Well, I just love target sports.
I like Hunger Games for archery.
I think you just like Jennifer Lawrence.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Jennifer Lawrence, archery. Yes. Yes. Okay, cool.
And you're thinking of Red Sparrow and not Hunger Games.
Oh.
I know you're less.
Sure.
Red Sparrow. Oh, that's Jennifer Lawrence as well.
Yeah, but she actually that's more.
This is the thing.
I'll let you guys.
No, that's good. Okay, so archery, cool.
I like that.
Cool, right on. Single shots. What do we have? Favorite cousin that starts with a K.
Carl.
Holy
You know
snap.
what? We took bets on this earlier, and we thought it was going to be Curtis.
We totally thought it was going to be Curtis. No, it was just like, but it's Carl, right on. Leo.
It's obviously you, Chris.
Yay!
Well, now you've ostracized both Curtis and Carl.
But
if you can't tell, Adam is related to Chris.
hey,
How are you, cuz?
not too bad, cousin. Thanks for coming to do the show.
We're not really friends with Olympians. We're
just
related
related to them. So his things. We asked. He came. It was good. Good talk. Yeah.
You have a 3.5-year-old, right?
He's 4.5.
Four
now.
and a half. So you must watch a lot of cartoons.
Yeah, we watch a lot. Certainly when he was younger. He's more into video games now, but I mean anything that was on Netflix, for sure, we watched.
What children's cartoon character are you?
I feel like I'm the dad on Kazoops.
I don't even know what Kazoops is.
I got nothing on that
Kazoops
one.
is a phenomenal show. It's British or Australian. I'm going to say British.
Okay.
Okay.
Commonwealth.
And it's just the animation's good. The stories are sweet.
Okay.
And, if you're going to watch something 300 times, it might as well be something that the parents can get behind.
Ain't gonna be that stupid little bastard Peppa. That's for.
I was about to say I haven't forgiven the British for Max and Ruby.
Yeah, that one. Well, that's us.
Oh,
is that us?
That's us. That's 100%.
That is us.
Oh
and
shit!
I actually watched an episode of Max and Ruby recently. It's very difficult to get to.
Ruby's such a little bitch.
She's not nice.
No,
she's very rude,
controlling, and very possessive, and just
I was hoping we could talk about screen time and stuff later. I'll let you guys decide.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I have some pretty liberal perspectives on that in terms of, I think we kind of have this alarmist perspective on technology, and I think
you do have to protect your kids in the wide scope of things, and everything that is being put out there is permanent. But yet, if you can trust your kid to watch certain things, you know best what he's going to be able to handle.
What if we have a bad
relationship with it, and it's not?
Yeah, or we actually have no idea in terms of what good content is. That's what I wonder sometimes.
Oh, 100%.
We watch Spider-Man. Is it Into the Dark or Into the Spider-Verse? That's what it was. And I thought it was awesome, and he loved it. But I was like, is that an okay thing to show a 3-year-old? I wonder.
Maddie was only 6 months old, and I get that she cannot process what we're watching, but we're watching Spider-Man, the animated series from the 90s, and she'll just sit there and she'll stare and I'll put on something else and she'll just be wandering elsewhere, but Spider-Man goes on and she's there.
Yeah.
So I picked up Into the Spider-Verse because I'm when she's 3, 3 for me, I'll introduce her to it 3.
Yeah, it's really well done. I don't know.
It's my favorite of the Spider-Man.
Getting on topics of entertainment. Next question: your favorite Ray Liotta film?
Oh, probably Hannibal.
Oh, nice.
But now, the second that I remembered that, I just had this flashback of there's some scenes in there that I don't really like. I'm not a horror movie fan.
No, I mean,
okay. So, are you thinking of him eating his own brain?
Or Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Is that obvious?
That's Goodfellas.
Yeah.
So that's why I was so excited that she said Hannibal.
Yeah. It's weird that my mind went there first, but I don't know what that says about me. Anyway.
But you're a Dexter fan, too.
I was, except for the last season.
Just write that one.
Yeah.
It
definitely took a bit of a dive.
Yeah.
Would you watch a reboot? If they brought it back and because they've set it up that they could bring him back.
Would it have to be a Dexter alternate universe where Deb came back?
No, fuck. He becomes Dexter in Canada off as lumberjack Dexter.
Who is it done well or is it low budget?
Let's put it at the same budget of season
Mandalorian?
4.
Oh, that's a good budget. That's a good
budget. Mandalorian's a good budget. I don't think Dexter needs that type of budget though.
No, maybe not.
But go back to season. If the season was written as well as season 4 was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I would at least. I feel like I'd have to give it a chance, considering the nostalgic investment.
Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of as we built this room, we wanted it to kind of have a Dexter vibe to it until I started putting up all this shit.
This room would be probably more intimidating if there were no posters up.
Yeah.
But I actually think with the posters, it's really nice. It's certainly capturing my visual attention, and I get distracted a lot visually. So,
yeah. Last question for you before we kind of jump into stuff: are you a dog or a cat person?
Well, grew up with cats. Have a cat. So I guess historically I'd be a cat person, but I also love dogs, and I love the idea of having friends that have dogs. So you can see them without, all of the continual caretaking that's required.
Yeah, I felt like that about children for a very long time.
Yeah,
Friends with children is great. Yeah, no,
the baby goes home.
Baby goes home. Yeah. Yeah.
I think maybe that's a therapist thing because most of the male therapists I know, because I was a cat person, I brought the cat into this relationship and Kate had the dog. But most male therapists I know are cat people. Is that weird?
I don't know. They're just chill, right? I'm very introverted, and I feel like cats kind of do what they want to do, and when they don't want attention or they can just disappear. They sleep a lot, which I love. I wish I was able to. But,
Yeah.
they're just, I don't know, it's more my speed.
Okay. I dig that. Where they make the rules, they set it, and then once they're done, like, I heard somewhere where it's like cats only need about 10 minutes of human interaction a day.
That's me.
And
it's me to a T.
My cat's like that. My cat will come up and he'll like meow and he'll whine, and then you'll be like, all right, come here, Jack, and you'll pet his head for a few minutes, and then he'll be like, all right, see you in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And just enough to keep you wanting more every single day.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Right on, cats. Way to seduce humans.
Our cat is the only reason that Maddie's almost crawling. Because she loves the cat, but the cat hates her.
Yeah.
She just like fucks off every time she comes.
How did your cat deal with a young kid? Was there a good transition?
Yeah, I mean, they were all great.
Yeah.
They were all great, and he was very rough as a toddler with one of the cats, our older cat, and she took it like a champ. She just let him kind of pull her fur, and, you know, it was almost like there was this protective, instinctual aspect, and you see that with animals and kids a lot. Like, I don't know. They get it. They get that it's important, right? So they're like, really good.
They know that they're an extension of the family, right? An extension of you. So...
Yeah, and Bigglesworth still follows the kids to the bus stop, but he stops right at the corner because there's a bunch of dogs on the other side of the block. And he's like, I just don't go past there. Fuck that, I can smell the pee. And he just sits there and he watches, and he doesn't go any further. It's just like it's his gang turf. He's not allowed to go anywhere. It's crazy.
All right. Adam, this is like the first time that we've had a chance to meet, and so like I've gotten your history through Chris.
How far back?
Well, you did some sick shit when you were 7.
Yeah,
what can I say?
You know what? It's accurate.
I was there too, so that was the thing.
I find things are like I find that you have like this really interesting career because you are an Olympian athlete. You are
not an athlete. I was a coach.
You were a coach.
Yeah.
You're a coach for Team Canada, right?
I was. Yeah, I coached Rachel Homan's team to the Olympic berth in 2017. So that was held in Ottawa. That was an awesome experience. And then we got to go as Team Canada representatives to Korea in 2018.
Nice. Are you also a curler or just a curler?
I play a ton now. I'm in a clinic full time, but most of my free time is spent in the curling rink whenever I can. I'm just obsessed.
Okay, so like you've got curling, you've got coaching at like an Olympic level, and then you're a therapist who's like currently you've just like finished your PhD thesis.
Yeah, I think the average length of time for our program, I want to say, was, 6 years. And after 9 solid years, I finally finished. Now, I finished up my clinical training in the end of 2016. But then when I got into curling and had the opportunity to travel, the only thing I could do was take a hiatus from the research. I mean, with me, if it's exciting and it's on TV and it's interesting, my attention's always going to be drawn to that versus sitting in a room and having to write. But I finally smartened up this summer and submitted and defended, and now I'm done. So there we go.
Okay, like
right on the button, everyone. Yeah, right on the button.
And for me, I hear that and I go, when do you have time to be a dad in all of that? Because I understand 100%. Like I've got my own private practice. We mentioned about when I was in high school, I was training at an Olympic level in swimming. So like I understand the training that goes into all of that.
Oh, that's awesome.
I quit before
Somebody
that
dancing carried him. He was like, "You're swimming too much, crack!" And he was like, "What?"
It was a
Yeah.
But no, so like I understand, like, just training by itself is time consuming. That's a full-time job. Mm-hmm. You're studying, you're working in a private practice and doing your thesis and everything else. How are you coping?
Yeah, well, that's why it took 9 years. And truthfully, I mean, my priorities they've always been, certainly once my son was born, was I want to spend as much time as I possibly can with him. I mean, we all have to work, and getting the opportunity to travel. I mean, you know, the longest period I was away was when we went to Korea, and that was 4 weeks, I think, which was far too long. Now, even when I go on like a 2 or 3 day trip, to be honest, it's very difficult. Like on the one, like airports get old. I find traveling really tough on the body, on your sleep schedule, and I just don't want to miss these moments of him being young, because I'm sure, as both of you know, they change incredibly quickly.
Super quick.
Yeah, but I had to learn, I had to examine what my priorities were, and that's why I decided it was time to work, you know, here in Ottawa more regularly, and so I could be home as often as I can be.
Okay. So are you no longer coaching for Team Canada?
So that was, I mean, when you win the Olympic trials, you're Team Canada for the Olympics.
Okay.
But I still am involved in the game. I was just traveling last week, actually, with the Carleton Ravens curling program. They're trying to really put together something to, you know, to make the game more enticing and to bring people to the school. So that was fun. I'll be heading to the Briar in a couple of weeks. Nice. With Team Saskatchewan, actually.
Okay.
So you know, there will be a few trips here and there, but really it's just because it's hard to stay away.
Full of Rough Rider fans. They're like, did you not realize this is the wrong sport?
I know.
Doesn't matter, Saskatchewan.
Well, I'm learning that football is very important, so I have to not tell them where I was born.
No, definitely hide that one. It was Edmonton, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, now you've outed me.
Yeah, totally. Sorry. What I meant to say was not Edmonton.
Not Edmonton. You know the city, not Edmonton?
Not Edmonton. That's the one on the border between Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Not Edmonton.
Not Edmonton. Why did you pick curling as like a sport to invest in?
Well, it happened fortuitously. So my doctoral research was in golf, was putting under pressure, and we use putting to kind of represent anything that requires a fine touch. Mm-hmm. So if you were a surgeon or any sport really that requires aiming at a target far away,
like archery,
right? And mostly because it's pretty easy to set up in a laboratory, but a lot of curlers love golf. Okay. So as soon as the ice melts, they love playing golf. And the truth is the sports are very similar. So I was working with the Golf Canada amateur program, the development squad, and just getting to travel and give presentations, and met people from Curling Canada, and was just given opportunities to, you know, continue, and you meet athletes, and as those relationships grow, just kept getting more and more opportunities. So the games are very similar, and the more that you know another sport, you can bring messages that I think players actually know intuitively, but you're framing it in a different way. So it's just been, I don't know, it's a really good fit.
Was sports something you were passionate about from a young age?
Yeah, I mean, I went through a punk rock snowboarding phase.
You could play some really mean U2 licks, everybody. I'll let you know that right now.
I mean, what can I say?
Truth. Take that, Bono. Sorry.
But I always enjoyed, you know, just, I don't know, I find it difficult to sit still. Okay. So sport to me was always like a nice way to kind of get that energy out. Mm-hmm. And I was always connected to hockey and watched hockey a lot growing up, and I'm just fascinated with, you know, beating the odds, and when you watch big playoff games and you can just feel how much pressure there is, that's always fascinated me. Okay. And seeing people who are able to thrive in those moments, I mean, maybe it was selfish to start because I wanted to be like a good golfer under pressure, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain why I love it.
Okay, was sports something that your dad was involved in at all? Or
No, I mean, he always liked watching sports, but my dad is he's been a radio guy his whole life, and my younger brother's in radio, so music was a really big part of our lives. But no, I just think there was just an interest in playing games. Because really, that's all sport is. Like, in the winter time, you go out and we would toboggan, and then got into snowboarding and played hockey, just moving around and allowing, that hyperactivity to kind of have an outlet.
Okay. So, how are you going to encourage sports for your son? Or, what are you guys going to do? Or are you something that you're already implementing?
So, I've been asked that before. And I've decided that I will never coach him as an athlete. I think that it's a delicate balance between training someone and being their parent. So we play games all the time. So we have a hockey net in the basement. We are always wrestling. We're always, if there's something on TV, there's sports on TV, he'll come and sit and he can watch for 2 to 3 minutes, but everything's just a game. Mm-hmm. Everything is just fun, and it's kind of a really good way to, you're developing a habit early that it's good to move your body. It's fun.
Yeah. And that's not competitive yet.
None whatsoever. I mean, I think it's important to induce that there are winners and losers. There are objectives. Yeah. So someone is going to be on the, good end, and someone
is going to be on the trying
end.
But that's just how it goes.
But showing that being competitive, even when it comes to losing, that the outcome is so far removed from the intention of doing the activity. Mm-hmm. So that's what we need to model to kids, where it's it's not about participation ribbons. It's not about everyone is acknowledged for just being them. I mean, that should just be a default response. So sports are really good at kind of mirroring real life. Mm-hmm. Sometimes things are not going to work out the way you intended. Where I think we go astray is when parents start to live vicariously through their kids, where you see young 4 and 5-year-old children who have hypercritical, demanding parents who are standing in the stands and, judging their performance. And it's a serious problem in competitive sport. Mm-hmm. It's a very serious problem.
Yeah.
And I think it's up to us to just be better and educate people and not tolerate that type of behavior. And
so when you see that dad freaking out at that hockey game, bring him a beer and just be like, "It's not that important, man. Sit down." Down.
I mean, in a way, I think we do see behavior like that. We see videos that are shared and glorified about, parents fighting in the stands, and it's just, I think sensationalized short videos are always going to draw us in.
Yeah.
But I think it's up to us to model what's important. Because kids are sponges. They're just going to do precisely what they've been exposed to at a very early age.
You bet.
No, that's fair. That's a really good way of looking at it. But at the same way, if they do find a sport that's good for them and decide to go on it on a competitive nature, how are you going to kind of coexist? The Olympics are competitive, right?
So I think I hope this is a standard answer, but it would be whatever he wants to do. We'll do whatever we can to give him those opportunities.
That is the right answer.
Yes. Yeah, and however, I think as a parent, my natural anxiety about sports with a higher probability of head injuries, that worries me.
So we're going to get him into badminton.
Well, yeah, but
badminton.
I don't know. Maybe that's wanting to wrap my child up in a bubble because we never want them to get hurt. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd want him to play football. Truly. But if he came to me and said, "Listen, I love this sport. I understand the risks. And it was a good program, and the coaches' heads were in the right place, and he really had a lot of love and excitement for it, well then I would be the nervous parent in the stands, but of course I'd support him.
Mm-hmm. But first you go have a conversation with Uncle Chris. Look at Uncle Chris. He played football. Things went okay for him, sort of, right?
Well, you could teach him.
I totally could. Yeah.
This is how you light a meth pipe.
Who knows what the head injuries did? No, but yeah, concussions are a serious thing. I remember having one in high school, playing in McMahon Stadium against a team from southern Alberta, and these guys did nothing but grow corn and play football. And I liked kickoff return because I could blindside somebody. Just, get that anger out. But every time I went to blindside this other guy, he saw it at the last second, and it was just a flash of white, and a flash of white, and a flash of white. And then we kept getting scored on because we got our asses handed to us. So I must have hit this guy 5 or 6 times before I really realized I'm doing a lot of damage here. This isn't great. How did I know I was doing a lot of damage? It was second down, and I'm the center who was snapping the ball. I didn't snap the ball on first down. I didn't remember the call, and I was like, I think I need to get out of here. And they're like, you okay? Pugsley? I'm like, yeah, I need to be rotated out.
Yeah, so, that's scary.
See, that was not knowing a limit and playing within it.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that, right? So, but and I didn't sleep that night, which was probably the best thing for me.
I think that is the best thing. Yeah.
I didn't sleep that night, and had peach driving. Tasty peach
driving.
I
was about to say, just pop a couple in naproxen with swallow it with some tequila, and you're good to go.
No, I will say, I do think sports, certainly what I've heard anyway, sports are getting way better, even at
the helmet design,
the development levels, and they're aware of this is a problem. So while I have a very close friend who's a neuropsychologist and works with a ton of athletes on this, and he's got a very healthy perspective on it, which is that a lot of the news reports and the dangerous outcomes that have been associated may be, he said, there's some conclusions that we actually don't really even know what the extent is. Now, that doesn't mean it's harmless, but we don't have research on the long-term implications, because really this is something that really has only been a critical research focus in the last number of years. So,
I don't know, did you watch the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah.
You see all the greatest heroes of the last 100 years. I think there's our proof. Some of the guys that, may not be data research, but there were a lot of defensive guys still left around. Right. You know what I mean?
And anecdotally, I think that's worth something to consider.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things now where we're talking about, we're seeing ads saying stop pushing yourself so hard because of there's that one before the movies that happens with the young girl who's a soccer player, and you see her playing really competitively. She keeps hitting her head and then getting back up and going again, and she checks a person, hits her head again, and she keeps going until she just passes out.
And that's a great point. But then I also realized that our kids, we could protect them from all sports. And I don't know, how many times has your little munchkin just smashed his head on the side of a door? Because Jude is certainly covered, head to toe already from...
Yeah, they average about one every 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so sure. we can't protect them from everything. I think that's why it's important to select cultures, select teams for your kids that emphasize the right messages.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's cool.
Find your number, play it in.
That's part of the reason why my parents put me into swimming, at a very young age. They're like, first off, it only costs a bathing suit, and they're like. No real head injuries unless you dive too deep. Then that's not really an issue.
Honestly, I think swimming is it's a very demanding sport, and I've heard from swimmers just kind of the training regiments, and it's not for me.
You're in the pool at 5 a.m. every morning until 7.
Double practices. It's a lot.
And then you're back in the pool at 4 p.m. until 6 p.m.
So how did Michael Phelps smoke all that weed then? If he had this rigorous training, was it just
It would have been... There's no way that he would have been using... during his kind of adaptation and training cycles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's
Not
no
like
way.
Ross Bigliotti.
Well,
right?
just
Not
wouldn't the level of performance required. I just don't think that you'd be able to.
And it's the wrong type of drugs to really enhance anything
Yeah,
in
fair
that department.
Except
Delayed reaction time. The gun goes off, and
colors.
just a few seconds late. Like it's.
Well, it slows down everything, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it's going to make you feel sluggish, so you're not going to feel...
Yeah, and we have no idea what context he was using and why he was using it. And
like, he was at a party.
Well,
right?
Yeah, secondhand smoke.
It doesn't matter if it's secondhand or firsthand. You're at a party, so what?
Yeah, exactly.
I think
all bets are off.
we're very quick because athletes are in the media all the time,
Yeah.
and we love sensationalism. So
There are
you
also people
hear
too,
these
yeah.
stories, but without context, I found it's just way easier to reserve judgment and not even engage because we have no idea the backstories behind things.
Well, I think that the only thing that when I think of like athletes and people to judge, the only one that I can really think of that I'm like, yeah, we can go ahead and judge him is Ryan Lochte. For that whole
for the post game
Brazilian stick up, stand up.
Wow.
That's a tougher one to show a compassionate response to. And he hasn't done himself any favors with continual shows and how he shows up in the media.
Yeah.
He certainly doesn't help his on-air persona. But again, unless you know him,
he's just so dumb. I watched him on an entire season of Celebrity Big Brother, and he's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we can edit this out. No.
You are pretty for a reason, Ryan Lochte. Oh,
interesting.
You had a baby while you were training, like you were training the team to go to the Olympics.
A young child, yeah.
A very young child. And if this is too personal, you can tell me to fuck off. Like, what prompted the timing to have a baby when you did? Because if you were preparing towards like coaching an Olympic team and doing your PhD as well as like working full time, I can't imagine like we've already mentioned, the time is not really there. So, what was the thought process around having a kid when you guys did?
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's ever a right time to have a kid. I mean, it's so easy to always find a reason that you would be too busy or something would be happening, but it was a priority and it was something that we wanted. So I think his mom's a superstar and was very supportive, and it's without that I don't think it would be possible. I don't think you can be a great parent if you're not there all the time. Also, without someone who isn't, holding down the fort when you're gone. I mean, I was really lucky.
Okay, cool. I like that. Now, off the top, you said that you wanted to talk a little bit about screen time, and so we've got some time.
We were talking about, Well, here's, I don't know.
Somebody says, fuck Peppa Pig. That's how we're starting this one, right? And then, like, you were mentioning something along the lines of, like, is it we who have the problems with it? And we're, like, pushing those values. Where does the problem come? The kids just find their natural solution and they're done with it? I know Eddie and Eric are like that, too. They'll, like, watch something and they'll just be, like, totally done with it. Or when they watch something and I'm like, God, they're watching this again. I'm like, how many times have you been watching this one now? And they're just like, just a couple more, and they'll just naturally get sick of it themselves. Does your son have that same kind of unfinished move
absolutely
on? Yeah, okay, good.
And so here, this is what I try to wrestle. Well, I do wrestle with this regularly. I mean, you're going to have purists who would suggest that no screen time, any amount of screen time is harmful under a certain age. And again, I just think that that's A, alarmist, and B, there's not compelling research that would support such a strong statement like that. Now, again, we can't say with certainty that we know what the impact of regular exposure to, a blue wavelength emitting device would be when they're 60 years old. We don't have that answer.
Mm-hmm.
We can speculate, but there's no reason to suggest that.
We can see short-term effects with blue light.
Sure.
And short-term effects can definitely lead to long-term effects when we talk about like disruption of REM cycles and
Right.
The fact that it can have an impact on like autoimmune issues. We've seen those short-term effects, so why can't we then presume that those short-term effects will blossom into bigger long-term effects?
Because there are many short-term effects that don't have compounding long-term effects. There are many short-term things that we have happen, such as the influence of caffeine, that it's going to have an impact for however long it takes to metabolize the drug. But this is not saying that they are harmless. Mm-hmm. It's saying that we don't know.
We don't understand.
We cannot extrapolate short-term research findings into an alarmist type, everything is a catastrophe. Now, to me, that's just on the screen time. Like, we don't know. And if you don't know, is it better to not risk it? I don't know. I mean, I think that's an individual preference. Now, the other argument would be, in life, certainly the day and age that we live in now, competent technology use, that's a fundamental skill. Mm-hmm. Everyone communicates, and everyone, knowledge of how to interact with technology is actually a required skill moving forward. So the more exposure there is, the better, and that's why we can see young kids who know how to use screens, but yet our parents, when they're interacting with a phone or opening a web browser, it's mind-numbingly frustrating. Yeah. So really, to me, it comes down to this. Whatever you are doing, technology cannot be the babysitter. Technology cannot be the substitute for all life lessons. What I strive for, and I would say probably 70% effectiveness, would be engaging with the kid, hanging out with the kid while they are using, talking to them about the videos that they see. Watching things on repeat is because it's a way to learn language. Mm-hmm. That's how we learn how to speak. Yep. You watched cartoons over and over, and I don't know, I had my favorite tapes, didn't you? Yeah,
absolutely.
So this is just a digital version of kind of things that we already did as kids.
However, I would I'm coming at this maybe from a point of someone who, disclosure, I worked in the school systems for 5 years as an addictions therapist with youth. Yeah. And we spent a lot of time dealing with the idea of, what constitutes screen addiction, or screen addiction even a real thing, because some parents will say, my kid is addicted. Others will be like, no, it's just like a moderation thing. Now that it's more than we had our favorite videos, right? Yeah. Back in the 80s and the early 90s, we had videos, we had one TV that we had to share amongst the family, and that was the source of the screen. Yeah. Nowadays, we've got a TV on every floor, maybe in multiple rooms. Everybody has a phone or a tablet, video games in the basement. So there's so much more content, right? And there's so much more that we're doing with screens than just watching our videos over and over again, because now we've got, 12-year-olds with Snapchat accounts, and
that's not great.
No,
it makes me feel uncomfortable for sure.
It makes me feel uncomfortable to say it out loud.
Yeah, let's not forget today's thing. I heard the TikTok challenge of skull breaking.
Oh yeah, skull breaking.
What?
I heard that.
This is let's do a skull breaking video to get likes. And I'm a part of me is let that Darwinism shit go. Go. Get yourself up.
How does that happen? I'm genuinely curious, though.
Did somebody drop a watermelon and we're like, "Hey, this would be great if we had other friends."
Well,
how something goes viral from 0 to 100.
More are we that starved for social attention that we just, keep upping the ante?
Is it that big of a drug?
And because now everyone's the star of their own movie, with, the constant need to post, daily updates about nothing, and is that's the reality, and I have a difficult time comprehending what that reality is like, and I'm assuming you guys are the same way, because we didn't grow up like that.
No, I'm a little bit younger than both of you guys, not too much younger than you.
Now
but
I feel aged.
Damn 2020.
Like I remember, I think that it's like a phase that you kind of grow out of.
Yeah.
Or I hope some people grow out of it. I feel I grew out of it because, like, you know how Facebook gives you those memories of, like, here's what you said 12 years ago.
Yeah, thanks, Facebook.
And that's the thing is, like, I actually really appreciated that because I spent a year going through being like, delete, like
Yeah.
what? Like, you're just bitching about your life to, like...
Everything.
Like, it's not productive use of my time. It's not a productive presentation of myself.
Yeah.
Don't forget your grandkids will look at you.
Well, that's
like, hey, look, he was bitching about his fucking latte.
And
he
so,
had
like,
such resolve.
it got to the point now where I look at it now 12 years later after, like, having Facebook for that period of time and being like, now, you know, I don't post.
Yeah.
It's like, I even, like, have a hard time scrolling through some of this shit, and, like, I'm like, when I see people that post more than, like, once a day, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, don't you have something to do with your life? Like,
yeah, people with stories with 6 chapters into the little story off of, like, whoa.
Well, it's serving some function, right?
Yeah.
yes.
It's served when people are engaging in it. There's some sort of benefit that they are deriving, whether it's short term, and you know we could talk about
You get that dopamine rush.
Yeah, whether it's neat, like whether it's there's something bigger, and I don't know. I don't
or
engage.
If it's Skynet becoming sentient and fucking learning.
Yeah, but I mean, I hope that my son will use it. I don't know, in a responsible way. And again, these are all just like random words I'm using because really, when it comes to parenthood, like I often regularly feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Truthfully.
Welcome to the club. Yeah, right on. Okay.
That kind of like leads us into the last question we really ask our guests, and that is: are there really sex orgies in the Olympic Village?
So I heard rumors about.
That's not actually our last question, but I.
I thought.
Well,
I do want to know the answer.
Certainly nothing that I witnessed, but I think that might be folklore that's just passed on every year.
When they had the World Track and Field Championships in Edmonton in 2001, the village where they had all the Commonwealth athletes had bowls and bowls of condoms. But people who, after they finished running their races or whatever they've done, they're just like, they had to get that out, and they were just like, condoms galore, and they were gone.
So, I mean,
and they
hey,
weren't
at least
wearing
it
them
was
over their arm.
responsible,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So maybe is the question on Olympic orgies.
Yeah, there's nothing I can say that I witnessed firsthand.
No definitive.
But I have
evidence.
heard the rumors, of course.
That's okay. All right.
No, the last question that we asked.
I don't know.
Every guest.
Every guest back. Would you go to an Olympic orgy?
Obviously, it's the most flexible people in the world.
Yeah.
You will get to do and learn things that you have never imagined. Fuck.
That's the thing, yeah.
What is your biggest piece of parenting advice you can give to other dads out there or other parents? Like in your experience of being a father, in your experience of having a father, what is the number one biggest parenting tip you can throw out there?
To me, it would be strive for kindness, soft, playful engagement whenever you can. There's very little need for anger, aggressiveness. I mean, it's up to us to redefine what strength is to our future generations. And that doesn't mean to be weak or to not understand the importance of being physically fit and standing up for yourself. But again, we are the role models for our children, and the first template we have of what being a dad or a male figure is, it's going to be us. So remember that and model every day who you want to be. I think that you can still be You can set limits. You can still impose discipline. You can still teach lessons. You can still set clear boundaries without being a jerk.
So, follow-up question to that. What type of disciplinarian are you in this context?
I think that for me, for sure, his physical safety when he was young was always like my main priority. So teaching that like you don't fall downstairs, you don't you don't run across the street, you don't pick up knives, like really like learning how to operate one's body in space. But that's easy. That's just being present and constantly making sure they're good. Once kids start learning language and they start to test limits and learn, behavioral choice and how far can I actually get away with things, we're really just definitive on consequences ahead of time, but explained. So if he asks for dessert right before dinner, it's like, well, listen, you can't have dessert before dinner. Why? Because it's filled with sugar, and because it's our responsibility to give you healthy food, and so you can have this afterwards, but not until then. And if he throws a tantrum, it's not engaging. It's not allowing him to manipulate the situation. Mm-hmm. It requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of just like stick-to-itiveness to setting a clear consequence to undesirable behaviors, right? And truth be told, like even with coaching athletes or training animals, almost ignoring, not reinforcing any negative behavior, right? So it's when we yell about things, even though it's an aversive experience, it's still providing a reinforcement. So truthfully, like not engaging on any of the undesirable behaviors unless it's them going to hurt themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And on the flip side, praising immediately the behaviors that you want them to do. So that's almost just like the click training.
The positive reinforcement.
Yeah, and I think it's easier on the parents. I certainly strive for that type of approach to learning anything really. So it naturally follows that to do it with your children. But I don't know. Again, I think philosophies are very personal, and it's more about knowing why you do things, period. And as long as their well-being is taken care of and they feel loved and supported and they know they're not alone, there's a lot of effective ways to do it.
Nice.
Well, thank you very much for being here.
It's my pleasure, guys.
We also kind of be like, hey, if people want to like follow you, how do you do it? Because you're not an entertainer, you want people to kind of leave you the fuck alone, right?
Yeah, I mean,
don't find my cousin.
You can absolutely find me and reach out and. I don't know. I don't know what benefit.
I'm not like 2 short strokes off of your golf game. Call Adam. He's gonna get inside your head like a Meeseeks, and he's gonna help you there. All right.
I might be able to do that. Or help you play golf. Yeah.
Get into curling. Support our local Canadian athletes, and just cheer him on as he continues to.
Yeah, I like that message a lot. I do think that participating in community sports that are centered around camaraderie and learning physical literacy and learning, like, it's just fun.
Let's not forget, curling rinks have beer.
Yes.
Yep. Yes, they do.
Thanks for coming down, guys.
It's my pleasure to both of you. Thank you.
No problem. Take care.
Cheers.
And that's our episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely. Good conversation. Intriguing. I hope we inspired you
to just treat your children well.
But not so well that they become spoiled brats. Wait.
We're recording this intro/outro like a week after we had this interview.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you're like, I should have made like the homework be like, hey, we should re-listen to this interview before we like,
we probably should have,
it.
because there was a bunch of stuff that was talked about, and we were like, hey, that was the thing that happened, and stuff. Crud.
Oh, well.
Nah, what do
you guys just heard it. We don't need to recap it. You go back and listen to it again if you want.
And go back and listen to other episodes, of course. So
Yeah. Shout out to all our other episodes. Mike Damber is recording a fucking album in Kingston.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's coming up here next week. Yeah,
next week. So, go back and listen to our Mike Damber episode.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're in the Kingston area, go take some tickets in for Ice Cold Comedy.
Yeah. Josh Williams is out drinking in Scotland with Simon Salim right now.
They are. It is the weirdest Make-A-Wish Foundation photos.
Well, because it's a Make-A-Wish for both of them.
Yes. I love you guys. Yeah, but he just recorded his album. Josh just recorded his album.
Yeah, he did just record an album.
At the end of January, so that'll be.
So go back and listen to that episode.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what? Just thinking about like Simon, we spent a lot of time in the summer talking about him because of the whole Snoop Dogg Wu-Tang incident.
Yeah.
Go back, listen to the summer episodes for that drama.
Further drama will unfold this year when we bring him to...
I was about to say, I just bought 2 festival passes to Blues Fest, and Kate's like only planning to come to like 3 or 4 nights of that.
I'll give you some money for that.
So like, I'm gonna be like on the days when she's not coming, be like $30-$40 come with.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens if I take Simon to Rage Against the Machine.
Oh no, that's I will help pay for that ticket. This will be, I'm like, wear composite steel toes and let's go.
Simon has to wear a helmet for the entire concert.
Sure.
Fuck you, we won't do what you tell. Simon's brain just crashing against his skull every time he shakes his head up. I'm excited. I'm gonna see it all. Like I'm gonna go pretty much every day.
Nice. No, that's good.
Alanis
Morissette. That's great. Actually, I want to take Amanda to that.
Yeah, it's the Jagged Little Pill 25th anniversary tour.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah,
and my favorite band, and this is gonna like date me as an emo from my teenage years. Dashboard Confessional is playing that same night.
I saw that. I was like, yeah, Jeb, like that. Who else is there? Big Wreck and Tea Party.
The Tea Party, Big Wreck, Moist, and Headstones are doing the same night. I know, it's like I'm
in high school again.
They're also doing the same night as Boys to Men.
Oh,
and,
ABC, DVD.
And Nelly.
Oh, Nelly. Really?
Yeah.
Nelly's coming to town?
Wow.
Nice.
So if you want to go take a ride.
I didn't know the Rage date, though. I didn't see the Rage date. Did you see the Rage date?
Yeah, it's the 17th.
It's the 17th? Okay. Cool. I'll have to lock that in.
Yeah, tickets for that day alone are $105.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Does Kate go to Rage?
No, she's not going to Rage.
All right. I am in on that Rage.
You coming to Rage?
Yeah, I'm coming to Rage. I'm already speaking for that now, asshole.
I'll give it to you for $50.
Done. And some beers. And, of course, some edibles.
Well, hey, if we can't say that shit if we're going to travel in the States.
I meant snacks.
Scooby snacks. All right.
What did we learn this week?
Yeah, what did we learn this week? Yeah, let's do what we learned this week.
Yeah, we'll do the
do you know what you learned? I didn't really debrief with you about what you learned. I just kind of debriefed with you about what I learned. So I'll tell what I learned while you think about what you learned.
Yeah, for sure.
I learned that weed is saving the bees.
Nice.
Yeah,
way
supposedly,
to go, weed bees.
So from what I heard on the radio and the way they were talking about it is that the hemp plants that kind of grow alongside a weed crop out in the field has the sweet pollen that bees love, and because it's usually a late blossom in the end of the summer, it's at a time when there's not as much pollen for bees to use for because a lot of stuff that they comes up in the spring.
Yeah, dandelions even.
Yeah,
like one of the first ones.
So having this new nutrient resource based pollen that's popping up more and more because legal weed is all over the place.
Yeah.
So we're seeing bigger weed fields outside, bigger hemp fields alongside them.
Yeah.
And it has the potential to save the bee population.
That's good. That's good.
Bees are important.
Myself, I learned this week that no matter what plumbing project I seem to tackle, I involve myself in 3 trips to Home Depot.
Oh, yeah?
That's just something I learned about myself. But
did they have like the comfy stalls in their washrooms?
no,
You just need some time away from the
time away
family.
from the-
I'm going to Home Depot.
Goodbye. Yeah, no, yeah. Oh no, and Erica, super smarter than I give her credit for, just in everything. She's just, I can't even come up with it right now, just because. It's great to see her like be the super helpful one, and like put stuff together. Hug your kids. That's what I learned this week.
Okay, but that was a long way to get to hug your kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, kind of creepy.
No problem.
Thanks.
Started with plumbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Ends with plumbing.
Ends with plumbing.
All right. That's what...
All right.
Time for our Dick of the Week.
Dick of the
Week. Our Dick of the Week, like we said, is not a bad thing. It is an honor.
Yep. One bestowed on a father who we recognize has made some headlines in the news.
Or just like,
just
you know, sometimes they haven't been fathers, right? Because we had like Tony.
Right, yeah.
Well, Tony Stark is a fictional father. We had wombats.
Right, wombats. Yeah. Sometimes it's just, you know,
good news.
Good news. Yes.
But this one is actually a dad because this guy just had his first daughter back in January of 2020.
Right.
He's a funny dude, little comedian. I shouldn't have said little. Brad Williams. Brad Williams is our Dick of the Week.
Yeah.
Dick of the Week.
He's made some a video go viral from the kid in Australia.
I think it's Australia. The young kid, 9 years old,
crying on
Quantin.
Yeah, we should have done a little bit of research on this.
I did research on it and I forgot about it.
Yeah. Anyway, Quentin.
1 second, I'm Googling Brad Williams.
Oh, well, that'll work.
Yeah, it will. That's how I got this information earlier.
Well, I was sorry. I didn't mean to be sarcastic about it. I meant that'll work. Like, a lot of people have been sharing this video in my feed this week.
Quaden Bales, a 9-year-old from Australia, was being bullied at school because he suffers from dwarfism.
Just like Brad Williams.
And the mother posted a video on Facebook showing her son crying because he'd been bullied, and he was saying that he wanted to kill himself. And this is a 9-year-old kid. And so Brad retweeted it and set up a GoFundMe account for the kid to try and be like, let's make this kid's day a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, this is what makes me sick. He wanted to get in touch with the family. And so he's put on this GoFundMe page, and it raised $350,000. Or I think it's now over $400,000.
It's probably $400K.
And originally it was just supposed to be to like send this kid to Disney World, right?
And now the kid's going to be able to buy a ride at Disney World.
Be able to buy the kid that made fun of him.
It's like, I own your parents' house now, bitch. And just
Move.
Yeah. Then he just bulldozes it. No, that's super great. Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, so Brad's stepping up, and like I said, he just had a daughter a month ago, so like it's nice for him to be doing like, because like I don't want to. We had Maddie. It was like I'm not thinking outside of my own bubble at this time, but he's still actively engaged with people, and it wasn't even like a kid that was a fan necessarily. Like,
no, that was
and I don't think 9-year-olds should. I don't know.
No, well, probably a 9. I don't meet many 9-year-old comedy fans.
And I was to say, like, if you want to know if he's that ability for a 9-year-old, or like that the content is appropriate, like go watch a set of The Degenerates.
You're probably your best bet. I think The Degenerates sets it all off there. So, yeah, funny man, big heart.
Funny man, big heart. Maybe not literally. Hopefully not literally. Guys, this has been a lot of fun this week. Thank you for joining us. Please rate, like, subscribe, comment, email, share our shit. You can find us on Facebook at Daddy Issues Champion Kingsbury. You can find us on Twitter.
We got Dad Issues.
And Instagram.
And we got Daddy Issues.
And you can email us at wegotdaddyissues@gmail.com.
Thank you so much.
And love and happiness on all of you healthy motherfuckers.
Namaste.